With that down, guys, let's move on to this final topic here today, shall we? Tua Tagovailoa has suffered 74 concussions. At least that's what it feels like. This poor kid, and you know what? He's not soft. No. Every one of his concussions, you look at, it's not like, oh, he got a bump and, oh, he's concussed. Every one of his concussions has been like that would have concussed anybody. Like, he's just taken some brutally hard shots. And a few weeks ago, he took another one that looked, frankly, pretty scary, right? When he was first trying to get up and all that kind of stuff. And the questions started to surround, does he play again? And even when they talked to the Dolphins coach, Mike McDaniel, afterwards, he was like, look, he actually said something very wise. He said, look, it just happened. I'm not going to say whether I think he will or won't come back, whether he should or shouldn't come back. You need time to separate yourself from it, take a breath, evaluate. He goes, I'm not even going to say anything. I thought, honestly, some people were calling him for saying he was copping out. Like, no way. That was the grown-up in the room thing to say. That was the perfect answer he gave. Still, it started a lot of debate about whether he will come back, whether he should come back. Well, Mike McDaniel has now come out and said that Tua is going to come back this year. This from ESPN. Mike McDaniel said, I do expect to see him playing football in 2024, McDaniel said Monday. But where that is exactly, we'll let the process continue since we still have time before he can even entertain anything. We'll make sure that he's diligent this week and assess after that. So, the coach of the Miami Dolphins is now saying Tua is coming back. And I got to tell you, under normal circumstances, my thought is, because some people will say the team shouldn't let him come back. It's not the team's choice. It's not the team's call. If the player says they're good to go, and if doctors say he's good to go, and you got a contract with that guy, you can't say you can't play football anymore. If you really want to bench him, go ahead and trade him. But you can't say you can't play anymore. And I don't think they should. But man, I tell you something, it feels a little different when you're talking about your brain. Like, your ribs are going to give, your knees are going to go, your back is getting sore. Like, okay, it's different when you're talking about your brain. And this guy has taken some heavy shots. He's got a lot of money because he just this offseason signed a big contract. And so he's got a lot of money, but I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised that the doctors are saying he can come back this year. Now look, at the same time, nobody in this room, and I'm going to guess very, very few of you watching at home, if any of you, are doctors, right? I'm not qualified to say that Tua should not come back, that it's not medically safe for him to come back. Listen, if a group of third-party doctors, not the Miami Dolphins doctors, but third-party medical examiners look at him and say, he's actually as good to go as anybody else in the league, then who are we to say that maybe he shouldn't? It just, when you're a young guy like that who has a family and who's got as much, he doesn't have Tom Brady money, but he's got generational wealth that you want to make sure you're there for your kids and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, man. We've taken as many licks to the head as he has already. If I was his friend, I would say, yo, Tua, listen, you won a national championship in college. You've lit it up in the NFL. You scored a huge contract. Maybe you call it a win and just walk away. But who can argue with the competitive fire? Anyway, I'm surprised to hear that he's coming back. If the doctors say he can, I say you let him. I just don't know that I feel good about it. What do you think about this?
Yeah, it's definitely not. I don't feel good about it either. He's a young player. He's basically had 2 concussions in 2022. They sat him out the rest of that season. Last year he was good. No injuries, no problem. The Dolphins were really good last year. And then he got the concussion this year running into Hamlin head first, basically. He had a concussion in college too, so this wasn't just in the pros. And concussions get worse the more you get them. You get them easier. So I think, they have that thing now, the Guardian cap, the thing you put over your helmet.
Yeah,
it's supposed to help.
Which
some.
I think wasn't it one of the Detroit Lion
Yeah,
players just wearing one?
Yeah.
I don't know why every player isn't wearing one of those. I know they look stupid, but who cares?
This season was the first season they finally allowed it in a regular season game. They practice, they make them wear it and stuff. Those things supposedly stop 10% to 20% of the impact, depending on how fast.
And that could be all the difference in the world.
So if he does come back, he has to wear that. He has to wear that. There's no reason why he shouldn't. But I really think, like you said, he needs to get evaluated from multiple doctors and figure out.
And ones that aren't affiliated with the NFL.
Yeah, what's the best case here, and what happens if I get another one? Because he's early 20s, mid 20s. He has, like you said, family, 2 young kids. He got that big contract. Man, just don't risk everything for this. There is no fixing your brain. Once it's done, it's done. So I've seen too many, like pro wrestling, those guys get concussions.
Well,
they're gnarly.
And I know
Football
anybody
too.
who watches pro wrestling already knows we're thinking about the Chris Benoit situation. You look what happened there.
Or even CTE with Junior Seau, basically shot himself in the chest so they save his brain to study it. All that type of stuff. And he's so young. It's not worth jeopardizing. If maybe this is the last, I don't want to say chance, but get that evaluation, see what it is, and make that decision at this point. Because he doesn't run all the time, but he does run, and he plays a quarterback. He takes blind hits.
Yeah.
So you're going to get hit. There's no avoiding it. He's not a kicker. So, he could try to change his play style to be more like old man Brady and Peyton Manning, where they go down real fast.
Yeah, you can learn to protect yourself.
Like, he's going to have to do that no matter what. But is that going to affect his gameplay and what made him the quarterback that he is? So I think it's a huge decision. And I'm glad he got a big contract so he can have that money if he does retire. But for me, I would never jeopardize my health like that.
If I'm Mike McDaniels, and listen, think what you want about the geeky whiz kid, because that's what he just looks like, right? He just looks like a nerd.
He looks like an 80s Coke dealer.
He learned the game playing Madden. That's what.
Yeah, for sure.
But think what you want about Mike. One of the things that has always struck me is this dude seems, and maybe it's an act, but I'm just saying, whenever I've seen him interviewed or talked to, whatever, he legitimately seems to really care about his players. If I'm Mike McDaniels, this is what I say. I say, okay, I'm sitting down with Tua and I'm saying, look, if all the doctors say you can come back and your contract says, okay, fine. But you and I are going to agree on 2 things. Number 1, you're going to wear the goofy hat. What's it called again?
Guardian cap.
The Guardian cap, right?
Yeah.
That extra bubble on the, does it look ridiculous? 100% it looks ridiculous, but who cares if it's going to possibly save your life? So we're going to agree on 2 things. Number 1, you're going to wear the ridiculous hat. Okay. And number 2, you and I agree, if this happens one more time, you agree with me that you're done. You agree with me. You tell me right now that if this happens again, you're walking away. I mean, it's just such a dangerous situation when, again, look, and of course, every NFLer is facing that potential when they step out on the field. Yes. But this guy has had now several of these that have sidelined him for a while.
And there was the one where I think it was after the first one in 2022 where he got it and he got up and he was still playing when he shouldn't have been playing. Part of the NFL changing their concussion reporting rules was because of this. So to put him out there again, and then if he got another one and something tragic happens, then that's NFL gets that forever, basically.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, look, is Tua Tagovailoa a gifted NFL quarterback? Absolutely, he's gifted. I love watching this dude play. And you guys have seen the difference in the Miami Dolphins between when he is playing quarterback and when they're not, because they're a laughing stock when he's not playing. But is it worth it? I don't know. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts.